Fish on. Lukey with a little snook there.
A little snook.
Fishing some mangroves. Sun is up. We are dried out from earlier rain. And we're fishing paddle tails.
Testing out a new rod and it's working out pretty good so far.
So I don't know what the plan is here. We're just going to fish some of these points, looking for some snook, maybe a couple reds.
Yeah, we still have a really high tide. It's just now starting to fall out. This guy was so good.
What, you got Slam Shady Bomber?
The bomber.
The bomber. Gotta love the bomber. Just came out with a new bomber as well, Alabama Leprechaun. It's been asked for a bunch. So we now have at fishstrong.com the Alabama Leprechaun bomber. That's the 5-incher. Bomb it out there. Skips really well too, which is what Luke just did. I don't know if the camera was recording on that hook set or not. Oh man, my tail just went underneath. Tail went in between my legs here.
See if we can get another one out of there. Yeah, this current is just now starting to come out. This is a really high tide that we're dealing with. So these fish still have a lot of real estate underneath these trees. But they should start poking out around these points, which is where that snook just hit. And yeah, testing out this new rod. This is a made in the USA rod. And,
there we go.
There we are.
Come on, baby.
And I want to test out its hook set.
That was quite a bit off of the mangrove line. Let's see what we got here. Another snook.
Another little snook.
Oh, yeah. All right. Power fishing for snook on the mangrove lines. Slam Shady 2.0 comes in. Whoa. Quick release, everybody. Remember, always check your seat belts, aka your leader line, after fighting a snook. All right. Cool, that was good. Nice little area here.
Get some action.
So yeah, that one was a few feet off the mangrove line. So they're starting to move out. It's tough, you know, when you're fishing for snook, reds, anything on super high tide like this, and it could be really, really tough. Really important to know how to skip a lure and to have a weedless lure. Right there, Lucas. Right there, Lucas.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
Jeez,
Yeah,
wake the kid up. Get him some coffee. Luke's in his own world.
The bomber is my personal favorite for this type of fishing.
He does skip really well.
Skips incredibly well, and put it on the Haas Helix hook, and it's very weedless. You can embed the hook point just to have ultra weedlessness, and whether you're fishing here in the mangroves, it's great. I just got back from Texas. That's what I was using over there. Fishing to get some Texas folks, and I caught the biggest redfish of the trip, biggest fish of the trip, and I just happened to be using the same exact lure I use over here. It was, in that instance, I was just taking it through a bunch of sawgrass. The bigger fish were holding right on the edges of it, and so I was able to just make it weedless and be in the strike zone more than everybody else, and it paid off.
Cast right next to each other. Jinx again.
Should be some fish on this point here. Yeah, a lot of it just comes down to, you know, when you're fishing after redfish, snook, trout, flounder, they're all ambush predators. They hold near structure. And so being able to be weedless is a huge deal. Where the tougher the bite, the tighter the structure.
Like this when I am caught in a tree because I cast too far.
Yep.
See if I can pop this sucker out.
But yeah, the tougher the bite, the closer the structure they're holding. And so if you can be weedless, you're able to get down there and bounce it right up.
Oh, it's not even the hook is in there. It's
wrapped.
Yeah.
That's not gonna. We'll go up there and get
you. No, it moved.
Doggone. Yeah, explain the old slingshot method you're doing there.
Well, if you've ever seen when you do break off, a lot of times there's so much pressure the lure will actually shoot off backwards, and so you're just trying to do that while you're still hooked, trying to give it enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Man, it's caught on that.
Stretch.
Okay. enough stretch where it's going to pop it off. 60% of the time it works every time. That time did not work. That one's just, it's not even hooked. It's actually caught in like a branch nodule. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
Joel, nodule? Work with me here. We'll call it a nodule. But should be easy to get out since I don't think it's actually hooked. Let's see if we can see any fish up here, signs of fish too.
Yeah, when fishing mangroves, there's the importance of being weedless is that you're still going to get caught sometimes. It's just way less. Because what happened here is, yeah, Joe's just wrapped around.
Oh boy.
The line just started helicoptering around that branch.
If you guys are listening, you can probably hear things snapping.
And fishing mangroves, if you don't get caught in them every once in a while, you're not fishing close enough.
Hold on, dude.
Joe surely did this for illustrative purposes.
Illustrative purposes for sure.
Don't break your rod.
I'm trying not to. Man, this line, the line is just wrapped around these. This is brutal. All right,
Yeah, we do not edit these videos, so whatever happens goes.
Whew. Joel, did you get that? Man, thank goodness. It could be its own little mini series. We're back there forever.
But just an example of how
Joe
far
in the
back
jungle.
it goes, right? This overhang is going over the water, and those fish have about 10 feet of water back behind it. That is a lot of real estate. And so we're just basically just trying to punch into every little nook and cranny that we can in hopes that it goes in front of a red or a snook.
You always fish the points. Always fish the points. Ooh, it looks good up here too, eh? Hey, comrade?
Sure does.
So we got tide is going out, finally. Barely.
Yeah, tide's going out. The wind's kind of pushing at our back here, which is nice.
Doggone. And another tree. There we go. That one worked. That's the beauty of being weedless there. Oh, now Luke's in a tree. This is the jungle series. Oh, that worked.
Came out.
Got it out. Got it out. Oh, swirl the redfish doing, eh?
They're all probably way up under the bushes.
And that one deserved a strike there.
And it was interesting. This same exact scenario was happening in Texas when I was over there. It started out high tide early morning. The fish were really tough to get onto because there was just so much marshland. And then around like the middle of the tide, after they started having to flush out, is when we started just raking them in, where we really just got dialed into them. So it was pretty cool to see how basically similar it is. These same fish are behaving, the same species behave the exact same way regardless of where they are. So whether you're fishing mangroves or marshes, the same tendency to need to be weedless, especially on the higher tides, is very important.
Oh, come on, pop out of there. There we go. Also, too, speaking of what you just shared, trends, we're working on bringing on a bunch of different guides. We've talked about this forever. A few Insider members know this, we do a smart fishing game plan every single Friday morning. It started with just Luke, kind of basically just curating all the stuff he sees out there from all these insider community reports, plus what he sees on the water, plus what the coaches are seeing on the water, because our coaches are fishing every week, and basically curates everything in 10 minutes or less. Hey, there's a cork over there. You want to go grab it? See that?
Right
there. I think we can grab that. Always good to be cleaning up our waterways as well. And I took a free cork. You can see that green one over there? Let me put my rod up so I don't break my rod trying to get this. But we started doing insider or smart fishing game plans for every single one of our coaches in every single little area.
That one's too deep, Joe. We'll have
too deep?
We'll get that later without the camera rolling. That's going to require some effort. The current's pushing into that big old tree there.
Okay. We will have to be coming back this way. But anyhow, the feedback we've received from all you members on these smart fishing game plans based on region have been phenomenal. So thank you guys. And obviously one of the top requests is, hey, can we get a guide or an expert in my area? And the answer is yes. So one, if you are a guide or if you are friends with a guide and you think they can be a fit for this, there will definitely be something in it for them. Let them know about it. We're going to start doing tryouts, if you will. We don't want just anyone who's got a pulse. We want to make sure we have the best person in that region giving the reports. And that'll be something we're doing here. It'll end up being next year by the time it's all built out. But really stoked about that. That's going to be game changing for you members. Just to always the whole gist of it is it's 10 minutes or less, and it's every Friday morning where a lot of us are going out and fishing on the weekends, and so you could actually listen to it on the way to the ramp, marina, wherever you happen to be going, or watch it, and or both. And in that 10 minutes or less, you will know more and have more confidence about where to go and what types of area to target, what depth to be looking at, what lures or bait to be using than 90% of the people out there. You're basically going to have like a guide's playbook of what you should do for that particular weekend, all based on real-time trends. And no one's done anything like that, you know, on the real-time side of things. So we're really, really pumped. It's just one more thing we're doing for Insider members to make it a complete no-brainer. I'm excited to see that. So once again, if you think you're a fit for that as a guide, or you don't have to be a guide really, right? You could be just someone who's on the water every single day, because I know we have some members like that are just constantly fishing. They're retired. So let us know. Yeah, smart fishing game plans, baby.
Yeah, the feedback so far from breaking out the game plans has been really good. So we're going to continue doing those breakouts.
And so something to notice here, I'm not seeing much of any bait. How about you?
Nope.
So this is kind of like, all right, we fishing a dead zone.
There's a lot of current flow. We have two little creeks that are basically both entering right in here. So thought we nose up and check it out.
But I just say that because I think that's so many people can get caught up, and it just does look awesome. Obviously, we got multiple creek mouths. Oh, and Luke just, of course, has a hit. But also be looking for that bait. If you're not seeing it, that doesn't mean that you just automatically leave, but also don't feel like you got to sit around for 30 minutes. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes we always made. You know, we'd pick out our spot and we'd stay there sometimes way too long. There is nothing wrong with moving. And I think that's one of the downfalls of just live bait in general. Sometimes we love live bait, but you can also, you know, because it takes a little bit longer to move if you're anchored and you're a little bit more committed. Man, that was a knuckleball in there. That deserves a strike. Or we've seen some of these people like, yeah, sat here in the same spot for 4 hours, like only caught one fish. Why would you not move for 4 hours? I'd be bored out of my mind.
Yeah, and basically, if it's more than 20 minutes, you're not catching anything, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So if you're fishing for 4 hours and you haven't caught anything, you should be hitting up at least 6 spots in that 4-hour span, if not more. I'm seeing some bait on this next little bay up.
I'm gonna cut through here.
I don't know, I'm trying to decide to cut through or to turn back around and fish the outside point back behind us. Tough decision.
Anything here in this little cove?
See if I can get one right in this little cut.
Oh, we get to see Luke's casting. Oh, you went sidearm. Oh, boo.
I went for broke too. All right, I guess we're going through it because I'm stuck all the way through it.
Boo. I would have gone overhand just straight down the gullet.
Yeah, that top little thing was gonna prevent that from happening.
Oh boy.
Our rod's cool.
Let's get that one, because that is one of the Fish Strong prototypes. Thank you, Joel.
I went for broke on that one.
I think rods are good. This is part of exploration.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of mullet up here.
Well, I guess I'll just cast at them since you can't. Yeah.
All right.
All right, now we're seeing some signs of bait. Much better.
So this is going to be more redfish. So before we were on the kind of the outside points, that's going to be dominated by snook. At these higher tides, redfish push up a lot further. And I'm seeing some, this might be mullet. Oh yeah, those are all mullet.
Dude, that was a lot of mullet.
But redfish will often push up in these bays like this at the higher tides. And so now we have probably equal shot at both right back here. Yeah, I've been back in this area before. It's kind of a lot of shallow kind of mud flats with some grass. And obviously mangrove line shorelines. And so these lures will still be a good bet. Stay weedless to skip these mangroves. Hit up these points like this one right up here.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Almost the perfect cast.
Curveball. Curveball. You watch any baseball at all, Luke?
Not a bit.
No? Joel, you watch any baseball? Man, you guys. Like talking to a wall. Well, let me tell you what I've been seeing here in the baseball world. Now, I'm obviously rooting for the Braves, lived in Atlanta for many years. Used to go to games almost every week. I was a pretty lucky dude. Went to Georgia Tech and did this thing called the co-op program. And that's,
oh, troll motor almost hit it.
Hey, little shark. And the co-op program is where you work a semester and then go to school semester, quarter. We had both there at Georgia Tech. Place flip-flopped it. And I was with Southern Company in their wholesale side of things, meaning they were selling excess power. Think Enron. Obviously, you know, there's many groups doing it legally. Enron was just more of an accounting scam. But we were selling to places like Enron. And one of the things that they had to entertain was a suite, like the luxury box, at the Braves games. And I was the only young dude. Man, look at all those mullet over there. And everyone else in this whole group was married, kids. And so none of them, you know, either had time or really wanted to go to like the Tuesday night game or a Monday game. They're all busy and had life. And they're like, Joe, you want them? And so I had almost every home game on a Monday or Tuesday, sometimes Wednesdays as well. And I'm in a fraternity. Like, I have no business being in this luxury box with all you can drink beer and food. And I was obviously a pretty popular guy because in my fraternity, I would say, hey, I got 12 tickets. Who wants to go to luxury box? And so, man, I have some really good memories of the old Brave Stadium. Now their new one is all super fancy.
Have you been to the new one yet?
I have not. I've been by it multiple times, driving through Atlanta and meeting some friends over there, but I have not been. It looks real nice. Oh boy, caught around my rod tip there.
There should be some fish in this little cut. If not, we're going to bail and go back out to the deeper water.
Yeah, I want to know where these redfish are.
Keep your rod up a little bit. I'm going to get underneath you.
Oh, that deserves a strike there.
So there's a cut that goes back to, like, it looks like another little bay. I'm right in the channel. I should be getting slammed.
I'm going to hug this line over here.
Oh, heartbreaker.
See if I can't find a little redfish.
All right, we're going to go back out to the bigger bay.
Oh, there's something moving right there. Could be another shark. It's right out in the middle. Let's see if there's... That'd be hilarious if the reds were out here. Something was waking.
Never know.
Yeah, we had a good little morning so far. A bunch of little snook. Just trying to get them reds. Finally got some current flow. And it is still hot as Hades out here.
Yeah, it was interesting. In Texas, there
Sunburn.
were multiple cases when redfish were being caught in the middle of the bays. Like, we'd be out in a bay bigger than this, And it seems like here in Florida, like in mangrove country, the reds will almost always be close to the mangroves, except for like the the low tides when they have to get flushed out and they're in potholes. But we'd be even at a high tide situation in like 3-4 feet of water, and there'd be a good amount of reds caught out there in the open flats. So that was
crazy.
That was kind of cool to see. That was the only really difference that I saw between here and there. It still happens here sometimes away from the trees, but it's usually when there's like schools and a big school, and these are just normal slot-sized fish, just hanging out on their own. All right, here's a little choke point right here that should have a good shot of strikes. There's some bait on it too, which looks nice.
Yep.
All right, we got to get something to eat. So yeah, I've basically been going pretty fast, and then I slow down every time we get up to a little spot like this. That looks good.
You talking about in terms of the positioning?
Yeah.
The boat.
Yeah, for boat positioning. Obviously, the lure retrieve stays about the same either way. Buzz that again. This looks too good not to hold a fish.
Right.
And again, I could have jumped the gun. Usually I don't go this deep into the backcountry this early in the year. But the bait was here, so I thought we'd give it a try.
Yeah, it looks good. It does look good.
So now we fished that choke point, so now we're gonna go fast, and there's a much bigger bait further up. So I think the outside of that will be the ticket.
Always optimistic, Luke.
Yep. Never know till you go.
Also got a new, depending on when you hear this, we got a brand new fishing coach we're excited about, old Rich Natoli. Been an Insider member forever, and said, I want to be a full-time fisherman. And he had his own little YouTube channel, and he just did a live YouTube interview with a pretty famous guy up there in the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic area. So he's going to be covering that range since we have a lot of new members up there. It was crazy how many people in Maryland.
Oh, yeah. Big history up there.
Yeah, and also Pennsylvania. Like, is there even that much salt water in Pennsylvania? Maybe a mile stretch in Philadelphia-ish. Right, if you look on the map, like, it barely even has any salt water, and yet there was some diehard people. Remember when we used to be in apparel?
Oh, yeah.
We kept getting these orders in for Pennsylvania. We're like, what the heck is going on? Hardcore anglers there in Pennsylvania. We appreciate you guys. It was really wild. Man, I'm still getting eaten by these little no-see-ums. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, so here's this is basically a nice little point right here. This island, this sure does look good. We should be getting some fish here pretty soon. And just power fishing. Casts, let the paddle tail do this work. If fish sees it, it's gonna come up and hammer it. And we're just basically trying to punch into every little nook and cranny we can.
Oh, and not hit that many trees. But weedless popped out.
Skip under that little crevice there.
Nice.
That's the best when you have a nice little lane right there.
And another opening right here. Mm-hmm. Where are all the fish? I'm going way up, bombs away. Ooh, did you hear that, Joel? Man. Something went to town back there, casting the wrong side of the boat.
Yeah, in general, the shade side is generally going to have the most action, all else being equal. So that's what we're going with.
Oh, here comes another boat. I don't really see many people out today.
Yeah, it's because they looked at the radar and saw that giant storm.
Isn't that an idle zone?
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Apparently he's above the law.
Don't be that guy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of that going on. And all it takes is one person, because it could be that you're out here for your first time and you see someone that looks like they know what they're doing, and you assume, oh, hey, it must not be idle. And then now you have everyone doing it, which I think is what's kind of happened. And you wonder why we have so many props cars. And there are certain boats and people who drive boats, they know their boat well. They're out on it every day. And I'm talking about like guides. They can kind of get away with it a little bit. And you get the next person who doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't really know what their boat can handle. And all of a sudden they're just blah, 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 blah. Grass flying everywhere, mullets screaming, fish dying. It's bad. They said some of those props cars, those deep ones, 60 years to repair. 6-0. That's crazy.
Not good.
That is crazy. All right, so we got a couple more points here.
Yeah, these outside points, and especially the ones that have the wind blowing on them, that should be the tickets. We've got a little ways to go before we get there, but that should be where we get in our action.
It's been a slow 30 or so minutes. Just so you know, this bothers us. We don't like going that long without strikes. Started off strong on that one row of mangroves.
Yeah, that outside point, that had the current flow hitting it, so now we're...
But this is also how you figure areas out, right? You take note and try new spots at different times of day as well, and just that's how you dial in the trends. Always just take a note of it. And that's another reason we like to go back to the community, the Insider community. It's community.saltstream.com, and put our reports in there. And we're working on a really neat, I'll call it a logbook kind of feature. It's already there for you if you've been putting your reports in, but what we're going to start doing is tracking the different trends, like, hey, man, all your redfish were caught on an outgoing tide or incoming, or whatever it might be, and have it all right there in one cool little dashboard.
Yeah, it's an automatic catch log. So you upload the photo, and as long as you just turn on the feature where it tracks like the date and time and everything, it'll actually populate all the relevant information, what the tide was doing, what the weather was doing, what the wind direction was, and puts it together in a report for you so you can upload your pictures and then get a diagnosis of the types of spots that work best in your area for the fishing you do. It's pretty cool. It's actually remarkable. Like I didn't realize that when we were talking about it, I didn't realize you even go back in time. And so we've even gone back like 4 years, and it still has the data and populated accurately. So that has been passing all of our testing with flying.
Yeah, it's really neat. Just it helps you become a smarter angler. All that data on your own catches.
Yeah, because I used to try to track it with just papers, where I would print out the tide chart of every day that I fished, and I would note on it, like, the time of day it was, and had different symbols for different species. And I mean, it's just paper logbook, so like it was a huge pain to try to like make some meaningful insights out of. And then this just has it all digitally. It can sum everything by month. We can really slice and dice it in a flash of a million different ways.
Ooh.
I was going after that one.
Smack, smack. And you'd think there'd be some fish back here underneath this overhang.
Yeah, this looks nice.
I wonder if they're still just pushed up.
They're definitely pushed up, but now here we can access them a little bit better. But even beyond those little roots, you can see there's just a lot of water back there. But they go in and out, so it's just a matter of being the right cast at the right time. It's all a numbers game.
Yes, it is.
But as far as numbers games as well, to not get snagged, we're going to check the hook point and make sure that point is embedded in the plastic. Because if it's embedded, you can get through some bad casts without getting stuck.
We got another little opening over here.
I thought we'd get hammered on this point.
Well, not dead yet.
That's a good cast there.
Come on, baby. Are you gonna cast right on top of me?
Ah.
Jeez Louise. Got enemies that are nicer than that when I fish with them. Unbelievable. All right. Oh yeah, skimming it. This is it. I can just feel it. Oh boy. I thought for sure that'd be a strike. Well, this is tough, man.
Yeah, it's still early. I think we need another 2 hours of water going down to make these things accessible. Because you can't see any barnacles. Like this is top of the tide.
Yep.
They have a lot of real estate to get away from us. And usually that's what's happening on this abnormally high tides like this. Those fish know it, right? They know it's different. And they know that there's going to be a lot of food in the zone that they normally can't feed in. So they naturally will just push further up than they normally do, which puts them out of reach for us, unfortunately. But there still will be some fish holding on to points and stuff.
Ooh.
And they have to come out eventually. Even in Arapica, it was shocking. Like, there's just so much backwater there. We spent a week fishing with a bunch of YouTubers, a ton of fun. But it was from the mid-tide and up, it was almost impossible to catch a redfish.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that tide fell down and those fish got flushed out of the marsh, it was just game on. It was even in the middle of the day.
It was crazy. So it was like, all right, we're gonna get work done. High tide.
Yeah.
It was almost impossible.
We're going after trout. Like trout were in the channel. That was the easy.
But it was wild. You could hear them feeding up in the sawgrass and stuff. I mean, 15 feet back. Like you could never get back there. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I just had a good cast too.
I bet you did. Sheesh.
So Joe was hanging his line over.
I don't think that was the case. You weren't paying attention.
You're hanging in my casting zone, dude. It's kind of like dropping a
You were
boat.
casting in my hanging zone.
Kind of like putting a boat on the boat lane and just sitting there right in the business zone.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, a couple more. I think that's the right way. Nope, other way.
Oh.
Yep, Joe had his line sitting there right in the business zone, and this is what happens. So it's looped over at one point.
This is brutal.
Yeah, I have my lure just sitting right next to those mangroves. It'll be funny if I have a red on by the end of this.
All right, dude, you got better eyesight than me. I'm middle-aged, eyes, like trying to read a check to sign the tip at the end of the night in a dimly lit area. Can't see squat dooski. It looks like it's like knotted around it.
Yeah, I've got a little knot going on here.
And stinking braid. This is part of fishing. It does happen.
Yeah,
Especially when you got maverick casters like Luke not paying attention.
This is the only bad thing about braid is that when there's tangles, which is a huge pain.
Oh, you had it.
So now I got to be careful too that we're drifting over the line. I got to make sure I don't get that line in the trolling motor. Everything goes. We don't cut.
Oh,
For the good, the bad, and the ugly.
See it all live here,
All right.
folks. All right.
So now let's make that worthwhile. We got to catch a big one right here.
That was brutal. All right. Man, bombs away. I think you gave me more casting distance there. With the wind at our back. That felt good. Ooh, that deserves a strike there. Got to get something here.
Got to make that worthwhile.
Hey. Yeah, see, the other thing about you got to get used to fishing with, if you're fishing with two people in front, you just got to get used to how they cast, watching them, knowing if they like to go sidearm or overhand. Man,
Can't win today.
this This is just a comedy of errors.
Bad news bears this trip. Yeah, so I was in a hurry. I didn't check to see if my hook was embedded. This bomber has been on the business end of multiple snook today and starting to wear through. So it just takes one act of laziness and end up in a mangrove.
Looks like we might have some more rain coming too. Well, you want to just end it on this? Good note.
Yeah, we're gonna end it on the common thing of the day, which is get ready for being snagged.
Yep. Oh, I'm gonna make one crazy cat. Oh, look at that, Joel. Whew. I don't know how that didn't get in the.
So one tip for being snagged is it's gonna happen if you're fishing mangroves, and when you're going up there, just always keep the rod that you're working on away from it, because if you actually have it forward, now the line's getting all mixed and matched in there. So just keep the rod back, either hand it to somebody or just hold it back. In this case, we have lightweight boats, so I just kind of get up there and can move the boat around by grabbing the mangroves and then just pull it off and hold onto the lure and just slide it out. Because again, if you let that line even just barely wrap around these mangroves, they are shockingly good at grabbing onto lures, but also shockingly good at grabbing onto line, especially braid.
Yep.
So couple small little tips that have saved a ton of time after embracing.
Cool, guys. Well, that was it. That was a tough one, but you always know you get to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and the branches. So we'll have many more of these. We heard you guys. Thank you so much for all the feedback. We did a podcast, that was a month or so ago, just asking for what do you guys want? And a lot of it was interviews with different experts. So we're starting to do that, as you probably have heard. And then on the water was a popular one. I think it's so valuable to see what really happens out there. Because, if all you watch are YouTube videos or fishing shows, you're usually just seeing just the highlights, right? I mean, some of these shows that are 20 minutes of fish catching, and they're there filming 3 days, right? Sometimes you only have an hour or two, and you want to maximize the time. So that's what this is about. Some are better than others. This is obviously a pretty brutally long one. We started off strong thinking, oh man, we're going to be slaying the snook, and it ended up being pretty slow once we started moving around. So that was a learning lesson. And if you guys want to know more and you want to become more consistent, regardless if you're a weekend warrior or brand new, or if you're a full-time guide, come join us there at the Salt Strong Insider Club. Guaranteed to help you save time and save money on all of your gear. And that's over at saltstrong.com. The Smart Fishing Spots app, it's really been kind of the buzz the last few months. And that thing's just getting started. It's getting smarter and smarter literally every single day with new data going in. And we're just making it a complete no-brainer to join the club if you're into saltwater fishing at all, whether you fish once a year and just want to maximize that one trip, or you're fishing every single week. We've got people who are in your shoes, and we have tips, tricks, and shortcuts, and tackle discounts that will help you out. So go to saltstrong.com. And Luke, anything else I missed?
No, yeah, just beware of the mangroves when you're casting next to them.
Beware of the mangroves.
Weedless.
Beware. All right, guys, we out.
See ya.